Hello! So a lot of people have been asking me how to set up the disappear toggle that I have on my avatar. Basically works like this. You can disappear, does some nice particles to hide the transition. And there are a few options. So you can choose, you can set it to like a fire effect. There's one for snow and frost, that kind of stuff. You can find it on the Gumroad if you haven't already. It is a very simple particle prefab that I've created. The only really complex thing about it is setting it up for each individual avatar. So I'm going to go over a couple of things that you'll encounter while setting it up for your avatar. And as as the page here demonstrates, you will need some Unity knowledge. So you'll have to know at least the basics of animations, FX layers, and setting up your parameters and menus. As long as you have at least some basic knowledge, you should be fine. Otherwise, I will try to go at a pace that allows you to pause the video and catch up as you need. So let's go ahead and start with a fresh Dragon here. So this avatar has nothing in it for the teleport script yet. So we're just going to go ahead and start fresh. Import the asset. And then once you do, you'll have this disappear FX folder. From here, we're going to grab this empty avatar, and it'll have empty avatar, disappear effects, etc. And drop it next to our avatar. Drop it down once, and you'll find teleport and disappear effect. To take that out of there, we need to right-click and then unpack the prefab completely. Now we can grab teleport and disappear and drop it inside of our avatar. Now we can get rid of the avatar. Now let's go ahead and merge our FX layers and parameters, and then we'll add our menu. In the Creator Companion, make sure that you have the Gesture Manager as well as the Avatar's 3.0 Manager installed. As long as this is there, you can go to VR Labs, Avatar 3.0 Manager. Grab your avatar and put it in the slot in the top. Drop down Effects, scroll to the bottom, add Animator to merge. Click that, and it'll ask what animator you want to merge. In our Disappear Effects folder down here, double-click Animation, and you'll see a Disappear FX file right here. Grab that, stick it in the Animator reference, and it'll say Disappear and FX type. Those are the parameters that are involved in those animations. Hit Merge on Current. Now, go to these three bars here at the top left, and then scroll all the way down. And, oops, I'm sorry, I forgot to remove these. FX type and disappear. There we go. So when you scroll all the way down, there'll be a slot under Copy Parameters, and we're going to grab Disappear FX Parameters and put it into that little reference. The cost will say about 9. That is correct. Copy Parameters, and it will add Disappear and FX type. Make sure that these checkboxes are checked. These checkboxes right here indicate that the option you select will be saved when you switch avatars or go from world to world. That way you don't have to set it from lightning to fire or from lightning to snow every time you rejoin a world or wear the avatar. Just keep these checked. These far right checkboxes indicate that it is network synced. That means that other people will see what happens when you actually toggle your disappear effect. Make sure those are checked as well. Now that we've done that, we're done merging those. Let's go ahead and merge our menu. Go into your avatar and find your menu reference under Expressions. And then in your menu, you're going to add a control. And we're going to call that whatever you'd like. I'm just going to call it Disappear Effects. Keep it simple. Under the type, drop down where it says Button and set that as a submenu. Now you'll have an option to add a submenu right here. Click on the little circle thing to the right of the VRC Expressions menu reference where it's empty. It should say None. Little circle over here on the right. And then find Disappear FX menu. Oops, sorry. Disappear FX submenu, no spaces. And you'll have this right here. Double click that. There. Everything should be installed on your avatar on the technical side. Now we're going to go ahead and make sure that the particles actually animate from your body. Drop down teleport and disappear effects. Drop down each slot until you find toggle activated, and drop down all 4 toggle activated. Click on the top buffer particle, and then control click all the other buffer particles available. As you can see, when you hit restart on the particle animation, it's all at your feet. So over here on the right, under particle system, find shape, and then where it says mesh, there should be an empty reference on the right. It'll say skinned mesh renderer. For that, I'm going to grab the body because the Nardragon's body is a skinned mesh renderer which covers the entire avatar. I'm going to put the body into that reference. So now you'll kind of see what I mean when I hit restart on the particle simulator. It's emitting from the entire body. That's because on the body slot, it's a skinned mesh renderer of the entire body of the Nardragon, with all the materials here. Now that we've done that, when we play test it, using our gesture manager and enter play mode, we should be able to go into our submenu for the disappear effect, and when we toggle it, it'll go ahead and create the effect. And then you can also go into effects type and test changing to different types. So there's snow, and there's fire. So now we'll exit play mode, and we're going to actually make our avatar disappear. We can go ahead and collapse the teleport and disappear effect slot. Now what I do is I like to make sure that my accessories, such as items, props, weapons, and clothing, are all under a single slot just like this. So this one called accessories, if I were to toggle it off, everything underneath will disappear. That'll make it easier for animating the disappear effect so that I don't have to go and toggle off each individual piece of clothing and item. However, with some avatars, such as the Nardragon, we've got a few things that will be there by default that we can't move necessarily because they're going to be under different slots. And they're already animated by the default avatar package. So, in order to fix this, we'll have to take a look at the animations later, and I'll go over that briefly at the end. For now, let's go ahead and make the body disappear. Collapse the avatar and duplicate it. Hide the original, and we're going to work with this duplicate, which has the 1 in parentheses, as the animator. Go to your Animations tab, click Create, and go into your Assets folder. And I've already created this Disappearing Avatar Clips folder. You can go ahead and create that as well in yours if you'd like. Or if you have another Animations Clips folder, you can go ahead and put it there. I'm going to call this animation Hide Avi. With that done, I'll hit record, drop down the avatar, and I'm going to select the armature, the accessories, and whatever clothing slots that I have that aren't already animated by something else. And I'm going to toggle them off. With the body, it's a little bit different though. You never want to toggle the body, and you never want to toggle the skinned mesh renderer component. Instead, go to the material and either swap them out for invisible materials or use alpha cutoff, which is one of the more optimized ways to do it so that you're not taking up multiple material references. If I turn the alpha cutoff all the way up, I've added a little bit of a alpha mask just for demonstration so you can kind of see what's happening. But turn the cutoff all the way up. Or if your shader has a dedicated dissolve function, such as Poyomi or Mochi, you can also use that as the animation. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and unclick record. Now we can take all these keyframes and Control C, drop down Hide Avi, create a new clip, call it Show Avi, and Control V to paste our keyframes. Enable preview mode, and you'll see that the avatar disappears. Now we're going to check these 2 boxes And we're going to set the cutout value from 1 to 0. And now we can see that our avatar is fully revealed. I'll disable preview mode. And that's basically all we have to do with the animations. We can go ahead and delete the avatar with the 1 parenthesis and re-enable the original. Now we can go back to working with this. Go back to our project browser and find the FX layer for your avatar. Open that up, and you should already see that we've got disappear and FX type at the bottom of our layers. Now we're going to add one. Bring up the weight by clicking on the gear on the far right, and scroll down each time because Unity is kind of just funky. Double click and rename it Hide Avi. Oops, there we go. There. So now in your assets browser, we're going to find disappearing avatar clips, which is where we just added those animations. Drag in Show Avi, drag in Hide Avi, and right-click each one and hit Make Transition. And do this both ways so that the arrows are going both directions. Click on one of the arrows. I'm going to go from Show Avi to Hide Avi. This is when we enable Disappear. Drop down Settings on the right. Transition duration is 0. Has exit time is false. Now hit the plus sign down at the bottom to add a condition and set it to disappear. When disappearing is true, it hides the Avi. Now we'll do the opposite on the arrow going back. Uncheck has exit time. Transition duration to 0. Add a condition. Disappear equals false. So when it's not in disappear mode, it'll show the avatar. Now we should be able to go ahead and test everything with a successful disappearing act. Find your disappear and enable disappearing. Great, everything works. Now remember what I said about having some slots that aren't able to be moved because they're animated separately? Well, I'll give you an example here on the Nardragon. Under customization, or actually, is it items? Oh, here it is, items. The antlers. If I already had my antlers enabled before enabling the disappear effect, then my antlers are still going to show. Because that's animated by a separate button, I don't really want to go and adjust the animations and move the slots around because that's a lot of work. However, the alternative can be just as tedious. So either A, you can redo all of the individual animations for these extra slots on your own and hide them all under a single slot, just like we do with the accessories and the clothes, etc. Or if there aren't that many and you're not really bothered by it at the moment, or if you have another add-on that doesn't support moving it around, such as somebody else's prefab or something like that, you can go to its primary toggle and add certain conditions. I'll go ahead and show you how to do that now. In the Animator, go to the item that you want to disappear when you enable the disappearing act. Find the transition that toggles it on, and add a condition. Here we have the button that says, if the avatars in the menu is selected true, bring in the antlers. I've added a condition, and I'm going to set that to disappear. If disappear equals false, as in your avatar is being shown at the moment, then sure, toggle the antlers on. However, if we want to make the antlers disappear when we poof, we're going to have to make another transition. Right-click on where the item is toggled on and make a transition, even if there's already an arrow that exists. Then click on the portion where the item is turned off. You'll be given extra arrows toward turning it off. So now up here on the right, you'll have more transition options. The default is simply turning the antlers off in the menu. However, we've got a new transition up here that gives us a whole nother set of options for the transition. We're going to do the same thing as we did earlier. Drop down Settings, uncheck has exit time, get rid of transition duration, and add the condition disappear equals true. So now, in one transition, if the antlers are toggled off in the menu, it'll turn them off. In the other transition, if the disappear is activated, it'll also toggle the antlers off. And this animation that toggles them on won't allow them to come back unless disappear is false, as in the avatar is being viewed or shown. Now, if we go back and test this again, I'm going to go ahead and enable the antlers first and then disappear. As you can see, the secondary transition that we added forces the antlers to toggle off. And because the antlers are already toggled on in the menu under items, when we reappear, it'll allow it to follow through and return with the avatar. That's just about everything I have to cover on adding this effect to your avatar. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you all have a great day.